Hello, good morning and welcome to NewsDesk. Coming up in the next 60 minutes in this bulletin, we'll start with power crisis because brace yourself for interruptions in power supply as Gridco and ECG warn a sudden reduction in gas delivery from Nigeria due to maintenance works has led to a significant drop in power generation. Do stay for details of that statement. Also, Ghana confronts a growing mental health crisis. Yet, the nation faces a dire shortage of specialists equipped to address these complex conditions. Now, we'll tell you how the Mental Health Authority plans to bridge the gap. And later in the bulletin, state prosecution says followers of the ongoing ambulance trial involving the minority leader, Kaisel Atufawcett, will be mesmerized when the prosecution confronts the third accused, Richard Jakpa, on Tuesday. Stay to find out why. I am Faustina Safo. Take a seat, be my guest. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Director and Traditional Alternative Medicine at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Anastasia Yarinche, has called for the promotion of traditional and herbal medicines. Now, speaking at the opening of the Executive Prostate Herbal Center in Accra, she urged government to invest in as well as regulate the practice to ensure efficacy and build trust in the public when it comes to herbal medicines.
The Executive Center, a part of Ghana Herb Therapeutics, a leading herbal pharmaceutical producer in Ghana, offers products like Ghana Balm, Prostajoy, MC 500 Ghanaman, and Crypto 400. The facility in Medina includes consulting rooms, a modern laboratory, ultrasound departments, a dispensary, OPD, administrative offices, and an IT desk. Its vision is to provide accessible and affordable herbal medicine while adhering to WHO standards. At the opening ceremony, Dr. Anastasia Yarinche, Director of Traditional and Alternative Medicine at the Ministry of Health, emphasized the need for evidence-based promotion of herbal treatments.
The orthodox, either sooner or later, will give you some unwanted side effects. This is something that we don't have to argue about. It's a known history. So for us, traditional medicine, I think we have lost a heritage, which over the years, all governments, successive governments, including our current government, are seeking to redress, are seeking to promote traditional and alternative medicine. The olden days, they didn't add science. They were believing based on faith-based. We were believing on histories. We were believing on testimonies. But now we live in an evidence-based era where people need to see evidence that, yes, you are telling me herbal medicines work. What and what do they do? And when I take, what are the expectations that I should expect? So the evidence is there. And now, like I told you, the government is throwing his weight so much on the development of herbal medicine.
CEO and manager of the Executive Prostate and Herbal Center, Dr. Nutifafa Techi, has also urged herbal medicine producers to add value and empirical evidence to their products to overcome doubts about traditional and herbal medicines.
Our doctors, our pharmacists, doctors ones, were trained with big pharma. They were trained with big pharma drugs. So that's what they know. All the evidence, the research that they've been doing are all with the big pharma drugs. Okay? Herbal medicines, most of them in our part of the world doesn't have empirical evidence to its safety, its efficacy, and its quality. We don't have it. So before we can erode that skepticism about herbal medicine, we need to add empirical evidence, which is expensive to do. But those of us who are doing it, Ghanaians need to accept us the doctors, the pharmacists need to accept our medication because Prostajoy, Say 500, Ghana Man, and all our drugs are having, they have a lot of empirical data, scientific research data to back the claims.
Located on the UPSA Road in Medina, the Executive Prostate and Herbal Center offers services for prostate diseases, general OPD cases, lab scan services, infertility treatment, and many more.
Well, if you have been experiencing power cuts, well, it's time you brace yourself for more because Ghana's electricity supply is facing disruptions following a sudden reduction in gas deliveries from Nigeria, causing widespread power outages across the nation. While the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, and the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, in a joint statement have announced that critical maintenance work by a Nigerian gas supplier has curtailed gas flow, leading to a significant drop in the power generation and maintenance, such as what we're experiencing now. Now, the maintenance, which is expected to last 3 weeks, threatens to disrupt daily life and business operations as the country scrambles to manage the fallout. Maxwell Agbaba joins me with further details of this statement. Maxwell, what does it say? Well, Maxwell will come shortly with further details, but we can see the statement now on your screens, and it reads, the Ghana Grid Company Limited and the Electricity Company of Ghana wishes to inform the public that due to the reduction in gas supply from Nigeria since yesterday, Wednesday, 12 June 2024, some areas across the country have experienced interruption in power supply. Now let's do the next slide. The West Africa Gas Pipeline Company, WAPCO, in a statement has explained that the reduction in gas supply was due to maintenance works being undertaken by a gas supply in Nigeria and is projected to last 3 weeks. Now, the maintenance has caused a reduction in overall power generation capacity in Ghana, which could result in load management over the period of the work. Gridco and ECG, however, wishes to ensure the public that we are collaborating with other stakeholders in the power value chain to optimize available resources to ensure minimal impact of the reduction in gas supply on consumers. Gridco and ECG sincerely apologizes for the inconvenience caused. Well, let's do some more stories now. The Attorney General's Department says followers of the ongoing ambulance procurement trial of the minority leader, Dr. Kesilato Forsen, will marvel when the state confronts the third accused, Richard Jakpa, in the witness box. On Tuesday, the court on Thursday admitted into evidence the controversial audio recording between Richard Jakpa and the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, a recording lawyers for Ato Forsen say goes to the heart of the matter before the court. Now, speaking to my colleague Latif Idrisu after the proceeding, Deputy Attorney General Chia Yeboah said the admission of the audio into evidence will not derail the case. There's more in this report.
The audio recording was first put in the public domain by the opposition NDC after Richard Jakpa had said in open court he has been in meetings with the Attorney General trying to impress on him to give testimonies to ultimately convict the minority leader, Dr. Kesilato Forsen.
Well, they are claiming it's a doctored tape. I didn't say that. So they should bring the original. They should tell the original to the court.
But why did you record the Attorney General?
Well, that is not for you.
He says you've been disingenuous.
But that's what he claims. If
that it was a private.
Prosecuting innocent people, who is disingenuous?
It was a private conversation, and now you put it out.
You claim it's a private conversation.
That's what he says.
Well, a private conversation, when it's a conversation that leads to committing crimes, it can no longer be private.
At that press conference, where the audio was played, Chairman of the opposition NDC, Asiedun Ketia, who ran commentary on the audio, described the Attorney General as the torchbearer of injustice in relation to the court action against the minority leader, and that instead of seeking justice, the Attorney General is rather hell-bent on securing the incarceration of the minority leader.
In my view, if we agree to this theory, it's so simple, the theory of the case.
Not agree to the way you want to go, the way you want to go about it.
So, let's agree. Let's describe it that way. Let's describe it that way. Do you want to go about it?
Okay,
if
fine.
Agree this way, for me, it makes it simple.
Yes, it will make
it doesn't also involve. It doesn't involve any difficulty for you.
Yes, I agree. I understand your point. That it doesn't.
When you say there's no advancement, and then even next week, the whole of next week, I'll not be around. If there's a way of, if you will not even finish next week, I would appreciate.
Oh no, okay, no, I will not finish next week. I don't think I'll be able to finish because the documents are many.
Because the first accused has already opened and closed his case, his lawyers relied on the contents of that recording to ask for a mistrial, an application the trial judge dismissed, in addition with an application to injunct the Attorney General in the ongoing trial and conduct an inquiry into his conduct. In court on Thursday, the trial judge, in a 10-page ruling, readmitted the audio recording into evidence to now form part of the substantive case itself. According to lawyers for Dr. Kesilatu Forson, the recording borders on the letters of credit and the terms of the contract signed between the government of Ghana and Big C to make the case that at the time the Attorney General pressed charges of causing financial loss, he did not have the full facts of the matter.
Tell us what you make of Richard Jakpa's testimony today.
He has given his evidence, isn't it? So we are to test it. You wait on Thursday and beyond, Tuesday and beyond. You get the full story, so don't worry.
What do you make of his testimony?
He has given his evidence in chief. That's his case. But if you come to court and state your case, it doesn't mean that you made your case. I just want to rest there. We are going to cross-examine him. At the end of the day, you make your own judgment.
Do you find it credible, the evidence?
Whether it's credible or not credible, he has given his evidence, and I don't want to prejudge before the court. That's his case. We also confront him with our case, and the court to make a decision out of it.
But are you surprised with the kind of things that he's been saying?
I will not say, because already something in the audios that we've heard, so it's not something new.
He made the point that the AG is urging him to get forcing him to be jailed for at least 1 month.
I don't want to comment because you see, it's a life matter. That's evidence in chief, and as counsel, I don't have to comment on specific. But as I said, when we come to court on Tuesday, all those things will be tackled.
But what's your initial reaction on the ruling?
Oh, the judge decided to make a ruling, and that's how the law works. Today, the judge said our objections are not something that she was going to take. We take it.
You think you have enough under your sleeves to undo what Richard Jakpa has said to court today?
Rest it there, and wait for our side of the matter, and you'll be marveled. You rested there.
The audio, you didn't want the judge to readmit it into evidence. That has happened. Are you disappointed?
Oh, the judge has given a ruling. That's how the law works. If you think you don't want something to be admitted, you raise an objection. This is the duty of the judge to make a pronouncement of such objections. The judge has done so. That's rule of law.
You didn't want it because you felt it wouldn't do well for your case. How bad or damaging is this, admission of the audio to your case?
Not at all, because this audio is something that you have heard, isn't it? Having to heard it, you've heard it, so that is new in it. But it's about procedure. So in terms of the content, maybe you are not minded by that because it's something that is in the public domain. But as to whether you can tender a recorded or secretly recorded audio is something that we wanted to test, because that's why we're talking about law, not about public sentiments, whether you are comfortable, you're not comfortable. It's about due process. And the judge says that that's due process, it can be tendered, we are going by it.
He also talked about the WhatsApp chat between himself and the Attorney General. Do you find that to be credible, or is something that has been made up?
Whether it's credible or not credible, as I said, it's a life matter. As a lawyer of at least 22 years standing, I will not conduct my case in the media by saying it's credible, it's not credible. But come to court on Tuesday and hear our side of the matter.
One question that will not run away is the absence of the Attorney General in court. Is it now clear that he's headed to...
He reserves the right to be in court. He reserves the right not to be in court. At the time that he wants to be in court, you see him. If he doesn't want to be in court, you also not see him. So it's just normal.
At the last
time we asked you, you told us that the department, I mean the Attorney General's department, is studying the advice by the sitting judge. Has that been conclusive yet? Reason why he didn't show up in court?
Leave it there. The Attorney General does not prosecute all the cases in our office. If in this particular matter, sometimes he comes, other times he doesn't come. Today is not in. It doesn't mean that next time he will not be coming. So you leave it there. Tuesday, Wednesday, next month, I'm saying this matter that we started, we are going to prosecute it to its conclusion.
Would the approach of the Attorney General change following this testimony by Richard Jakpa, today's testimony?
What approach? What approach, if you can?
In handling the entire case.
Attorney General, he's vested with the power to prosecute, and if he needs to prosecute...
I'm talking about the department, not Godfrey Yeboah Dami. I'm talking about Attorney General's department.
Like, we are people that prosecuting, do our work as officers of the ministry. So for us, we are paid by taxpayer. What approach is going to take? Because the attorneys are paid by the state, they must work because they are being paid. So if they have to come to court to prosecute, they'll come to court and prosecute.
So the strategy wouldn't change?
There's no strategy, whether it's a strategy or there's no strategy. We are prosecuting a specific matter. We are looking at the law, looking at the evidence. We don't take our eyes off the ball. If you do that, by the time you realize, you are down. And I think when it comes to prosecution, prosecutors in the AG's office are seasoned prosecutors and their eyes are always on the ball. And this is what we are doing.
According to Richard Jakpa, that from his interaction with the Attorney General and also the pressure being mounted on him by his extended family, he knows that the prosecution of Dr. Kesilato Forson is nothing but something that is born out of political convenience and vindictiveness.
Well, you're still watching News Desk. Now, in a world where mental health issues are becoming increasingly prevalent, the urgency to bridge the gap in medical practice and elevate psychiatric care has never been greater. Ghana is confronting a growing mental health crisis, yet the nation faces a dire shortage of specialists equipped to address these complex conditions. Now, as part of efforts to address the challenge, the Mental Health Authority, in collaboration with the Psychiatric Department of Dalhousie University in Canada, the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, and the University of Ghana's Psychiatric Department have begun specialized training sessions to help build a robust network of skilled professionals dedicated to mental health. Now, we'll be engaging them shortly on the show, but first, our research team has put together some data on Ghana's mental health outlook, and it's coming on your screen shortly. Well, that's what you have it, the global mental health and the share of global disease burden. That's 10% for Ghana, and mental disorders is 10%. If you could see the yellow marking in the pie chart, we stand at 10% when it comes to mental disorders as Ghana as a country, and the rest is for others. Now, when you come down to low and middle income countries, you could see not receiving treatment accounts for 75%. That's quite a lot. And for those of them who have access to treatment, we have 25%. Now, people living with mental health conditions in Ghana, we have 2.3 million. That's quite the number. And as a population, you know that we're over 30 million. And so it puts it into perspective, the conversation we're about to have, and why it's important that we have this conversation. So that's our outlook. We're focusing on Ghana. Now, only 2% of this 2.3 million are receiving treatment. That's sad, and that's the reason why we want to have this conversation this morning here on News Desk. Now, I have with me Dr. Jakpa, Professor and Head of the Department of Psychiatry at Dalhousie University and Chief of Psychiatry for Nova Scotia Health Authority Central Zone. I also have with me Dr. Alexandria Manning, Assistant Professor at the Department of Psychiatry at Dalhousie University. I also have with me Dr. Leanne Ravel. She's the fourth-year psychiatric resident, and they're all joining us here live on News Desk. Very great to have you in the studio. Let's start with you, Prof. Well, let's start with Leanne, really, because you are at the receiving end of the whole initiative. How has it been so far for you?
It's been a delight coming to Ghana. Everyone's been so friendly and welcoming. We've had an opportunity to visit some of the sites in Accra, like the Kwame Nkrumah.
Kwame Nkrumah is
Memorial Park.
Oh, I see.
And also we've had very productive meetings. We've met with the College of Physicians and Surgeons, the Mental Health Authority, as well as leadership at University of Ghana Medical School.
Now, let me come to you, Doctor. Let me come to you. After Dr. Ann, you are Dr. Manning. Thank you so much. Let me come to you. Now, for this program, what are you looking to achieve?
Yeah, you know, we have a really excellent training program at Dalhousie University. We have a 5-year psychiatry residency program with very robust psychotherapy training and excellent subspecialty training in child and adolescent psychiatry, in geriatric psychiatry, as well as a number of fellowships. And I won't be sort of comprehensive in all of the ones we offer, but we offer training in early psychosis, mood disorders, forensic psychiatry, for example. But one of the areas that we really can improve on is transcultural psychiatry. And so that's one of the things that we're hoping to achieve in the collaboration with University of Ghana Medical School.
Now let me come to you, Dr. Vincent, because we're looking at this program and the impact it's supposed to have on our sector with mental health care. What's your target in terms of the number of people you're hoping could receive this training program?
Yeah, so we are hoping to be able to help increase the number of subspecialty trained Ghanaian psychiatrists. And we are looking at areas like child psychiatry, forensic psychiatry, geriatric psychiatry. The goal will be to be able to train about 4 senior residents per year in these subspecialty areas. Each of them are receiving 6 months of international fellowship training at Dalhousie University. And as we said, it's not just a one-way training opportunity. It's also a two-way where some of our own residents from Dalhousie University would also come to Ghana and train in transcultural psychiatry. So that is a mutually beneficial relationship that's been developed.
So what are the main components of this specialization program?
So as I indicated, those who are going to Dalhousie will be there for 6 months. They would actually have a work permit, which means they are not just going on an observership. Usually people go on an observership and they are not able to touch patients or be involved in the care delivery of patients. This is actually a proper training program where the psychiatrists who go from here to Dalhousie University will be involved in the circle of care of patients and receive the same training that fellows in Dalhousie University receive as part of their training.
And how do you think this will enhance the skills of the Ghanaian psychiatrists?
Well, I've been here and I've seen how hard psychiatrists are working. People are going above and beyond caring for people, even with very minimal training. So the expectation is that we can be able to develop a critical mass of psychiatrists who have the skills, the knowledge, and the ability to provide the appropriate care, that patients require. And also to serve as trainers for other trainees who are coming up. We are not hoping that we'll always be sending people abroad. We are hoping to develop the faculty here in Ghana so that they can be able to train much more people, so that there'll be a multiplier effect to the collaboration.
Dr. Alexandra, now what key areas will this psychiatry program focus on?
So my focus really is with the psychiatry residents at Dalhousie University, and we want to be able to sort of build on the collaborative relationship and provide opportunities for our residents at Dalhousie to travel to Ghana and be able to work similarly with a hands-on approach, working directly in patient care, to be able to develop those skills in cultural psychiatry and transcultural psychiatry. In Halifax and in Nova Scotia in particular, our population is changing and we have more and more newcomers coming to Halifax and Nova Scotia, and that's something that our residency program just needs to work on.
You have been in Canada for a long time and then coming into Ghana. What are some of the differences you've spotted with our healthcare delivery system here as compared to where you're from?
So that's a great question. I've been here for 2 days, and I think one of the things that I've noticed is really how hard psychiatrists here are working. We work hard at home as well, but the system is different, and the access to care is different, and that's something that I think our residents could actually benefit from, the experience of working in that system.
Dr. Vincent, people are wondering, how do I get involved? Do I have to have, what qualification are you looking out for? What's the process?
So this is an institutional collaboration. So it's not one that any individual can actually apply. You have to work with the institutions in Ghana. So if you're a psychiatrist in Ghana, you work with the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. They actually do the selection of those who then be interviewed by Dalhousie University and select. So far, we've had 7 people apply, 5 of whom have been offered positions with the international fellowships, and 1 has the application ongoing. So it's a good time for psychiatry in Ghana, and a good time certainly for Dalhousie University as well, in terms of the opportunities that we get to train our own people here as well.
So there's a gap, there's a deficiency when it comes to the number of people who actually practice psychiatric care and those people who are going through mental health issues. And I'm sure this is the reason why the program is there, to help bridge that gap. But how many people are you targeting to get on board with this initiative? I'm coming to you, Alexandra.
So again, my focus would be more on the residents who are going to be able to travel to Ghana. And our hope is really that this will be an equitable opportunity for all of our residents. We have an interest in transcultural psychiatry. Our resident body has an interest in that. And so we want to be able to support as many residents who are able and want to come to be able to do that.
Oh, that's beautiful. So we don't have any number. Can I be a part of it?
Well, if you work with the Ghana College and they accept you, then
okay. But looking at mental health in Ghana, Dr. Vincent, I'm coming to you. Do you think that we've done enough in terms of healthcare delivery?
Well, I think those professionals who are working in mental health have gone above and beyond, let me put it that way. There's a lot more government can be able to do, which frankly is the gap that needs to be addressed. I mean, for example, up to date, mental health is not part of the National Health Insurance Scheme. There was a talk quite recently about including mental health care delivery on the National Health Insurance Scheme, but it's not translated into anything substantial. There are many people on the streets, even as we drove here, who frankly suffer from very chronic schizophrenia that need treatment and could have their quality of life improved if they had access to medication and other social supports. That's the responsibility of the government. So it's a failure of the government and of leadership. And I think these are things that civil society and religious bodies and everybody should rise up to really encourage the government to take up its own responsibility in this matter.
I'll come to you, Leanne, because you are an end beneficiary of this program. So far, how has the program been for you?
So we've had the opportunity at this point to visit the sites, the training sites, meet with the residents, and it's been wonderful to be able to engage with everyone that we hope to continue to collaborate with.
What are some of the key lessons you've learned so far, even with your short stay?
Everyone's been so kind.
Oh, wow. That's how we are here.
Yeah. Everyone's been so kind and welcoming, and I think at this point it's really just seeing the opportunity of how much we have to learn from all the trainers here, the trainees here, and I suppose it's just a feeling of excitement to hopefully to have the opportunity very shortly to be able to continue to collaborate.
Now I'll come to you, Dr. Alexandra. This program, you're telling me we don't have a number we're looking at. How long is this program supposed to be for? Is there a duration to it, or as long as you're in Ghana, we're free?
I think, another great question. We're really in the early stages of developing this. So when we sort of land back on Canadian soil. We'll be sort of engaging in stakeholder discussions there around how this can fit into our residency program and how we can continue that. I think, at the heart of any of these initiatives is the relationships. And one of the benefits of our visit here this time was the ability to really engage with the college, with the university here, the residents and the teaching faculty to foster that. I think the success of any of these programs is really at the heart of the relationships that sustain them. Dr.
Vincent, when I'm chosen, it's an all-expense-paid trip?
Well, as I indicated, they'll be on a work permit. So, I mean, we're going to treat them the same way as we treat our own residents.
Okay.
There'll be no distinction in terms of how much they are paid versus how much our own residents are paid. So, I mean, there's not going to be any cost to either themselves or to the other stakeholders in Ghana that are coming in. And we are going to fund our own residents to come here as well. So it's not going to be a burden on
That's good news.
In Ghana.
But walk us through the selection process. I know I have to be working in a government institution, but what's the selection process? Do I have to apply?
Yeah, so you should be endorsed by the Ghana College to travel for that experience. Okay. They are looking at qualifications like, for example, you should have completed your membership with the Ghana College. And we had discussions with the rector. They are expecting that you are in the fellowship training program and have submitted your research proposal so that whilst you are in Halifax or Dalhousie University, you can be able to get some support from researchers in shaping your research questionnaire and your research experience. So once the Ghana College have identified you as potential beneficiary, then you undergo an interview process with Dalhousie University, and that interview process is to ensure that the particular beneficiaries are a good fit for the team in Dalhousie as well. So far, it's been very positive experience. All of the people who've gone through the interview process have been declared fit, for the teams there. So that's really good, 100% success.
With this program, how many beneficiaries do we have so far?
So far, 5 have been offered placements, and there's 1 currently going through the system. The only individual that didn't qualify has been offered a place in Dublin as well, because Dublin is part of the collaboration, but he's gotten another opportunity in the United States. So far, I'd say almost everybody that's applied, there's an opportunity for them.
With some of your residents, Dr. Alexandra, I'm coming to you. What are some of the things they tell you they look forward to when coming to Ghana?
So this is very new. I think the experience of working in a different system is one of the, and Ghana is a beautiful country. So I won't lie that that's part of the attraction as well.
So we'll be monitoring this process, and we hope to get more people to get involved in it, because tackling mental health is actually key. Now let's go to the substantive issue, because you're all mental health practitioners in your various field, apart from you, but you're practicing, so it means you're going to be a professional very soon. Mental health care in Ghana, I'll start with you, Dr. Vincent. How do you think our approach has been so far? Successful?
Well, I think successful to the extent that the resources allow. There's been a lot of initiatives and interventions over the years. Credit to, Professor Asari, Professor Akwesi, Professor Sami, and many other people that have been involved. For example, as you probably be aware of, I think in 2007, 2008, there was an initiative with the Kintampo Training Center to increase the number of mental health practitioners. A program was set up to train community mental health officers and clinical psychiatric officers, so that each of the districts in Ghana would have at least some frontline mental health clinicians supporting identification and also the referral process for psychiatrists. I think that program has been very successful. I'm not sure if there's been a formal evaluation, but certainly it's increased the number of people who are getting access, to care. There have been also initiatives to increase the number of psychiatrists. I think in 2010, we launched the Intermedical Students Public Speaking Competition in collaboration with St. Patrick's University Hospital. So far, we've had about 30 Ghanaian medical students go to St. Patrick's University Hospital to undertake 4 weeks, all expenses paid, electives.
Wow.
And that program is still ongoing. We are currently in the 11th year. Hopefully, we'll be having the 11th competition in January of this year. There have been also a lot of diaspora-based psychiatrists who come to Ghana to contribute to the training of our residents and also go to medical schools like Cape Coast University. Myself, I used to go to KNUST annually to deliver lectures, and all that's helping to increase the number of workforce that we have within the mental health space. I think what's needed now is funding, increased government funding for mental health care delivery so that the workers on the ground can be able to do more for the population.
Mental health issues, they know no color or gender, but unfortunately here in Africa, men find it quite difficult to express themselves and talk about their mental issues. I can see Dr. Alexandra nodding her head with that question. I will come to your thoughts about it, but how do you feel that we can encourage more men to express themselves and seek mental health care?
So we need to be very intentional about some of the initiatives that we put in place, And you are very right, women are more emotional and expressive, and therefore they seek help when they need to. Whereas men tend to kind of, bottle things within themselves. And usually by the time it comes to the stage where they are seeking help, then it's almost too late. That's why we have more men dying by suicide, compared to women. So it's important for us to look at social interventions. For example, forming social groups just for men, for example, will be a very good initiative so that the men would know that if you are going through this, you are not alone. There are many other people just like yourself who are going through it, and you can be able to seek help, at least first-stage help. And when you go to such social groupings, you can be able to get information about access to support services that are beyond the social groupings and seek appropriate help and intervention. This is something that it's not just government that can be able to do. All churches can have men's group that's focused on the mental well-being of the men within their fold. And I think all of us working together, we can be able to make a difference that way.
I'll come to you, Alexandra, because you're from a different geographic location. When it comes to how men are treated with mental health, Doc made mention of special groups. Is this something you have over there?
Yeah, I was nodding along because I was just thinking that's a shared experience between with what we see in Canada as well. And there are more services I think that we're trying to develop to really offer support and collaborate with males in our population. I work more in child and adolescent psychiatry.
Oh, okay.
So I don't see that gender difference as prevalently within my practice.
In your area of practice, when it comes to children and adolescents, what are the key triggers to mental health issues?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say a lot of the psychosocial factors can be more common within our population, and also sort of the interactions with school and schooling and the school system.
I'll come to you, Leanne, because you are going to be specialized in this area. So far, with your interaction with people with mental health challenges, I'm sure as part of your program, you've been given that opportunity. What measures do you think we can put in place to better healthcare delivery with people with mental health?
I believe my colleagues have really touched on this, but education is really important, and with that, a focus on stigma around mental health is really important to encourage people to talk about it, to feel comfortable, and as practitioners, to be open and welcoming and supportive.
Stigma is a big issue we're facing here, Dr. Vincent, in Ghana. Do you think we've done enough to provide a safe space for people battling with mental health?
Well, I think a lot have been done. For example, you are aware of the decriminalization of suicide. It's been on our statute books for many years, and somebody experiencing suicidal ideation are thinking about going to jail. So, I mean, what's the point in talking about, their experience? Now people can be able to talk freely. There are a lot of social media activity going on. There's the mental health advocacy group that's doing a lot. The month of May was Purple Month in Ghana for mental health. The Mental Health Authority did a lot of engagement. And I think people are becoming more and more aware of mental health issues and the need to talk about it and seek help if the need arises, which is helping to address, some of the stigma issues. It's not gone away completely, but I think a lot of work has been done.
Where do you think there are gaps in terms of our delivery, and what do you think can be done to fill in these gaps?
Resources are really where the gaps are. If there are more resources, there can be more work being done. And for example, talking about triggers of mental health, psychosocial factors are a big deal. If somebody is hungry, if somebody loses their job, they are unemployed, their kids have been thrown out of school, because they cannot pay their fees or provide daily necessities of living, no amount of medication can be able to help fix them if you don't provide the psychosocial supports that people need. So that's why I commend the government, for example, for the free education in high school. It's a major social intervention, free maternal care, free school feeding program. These are all very, very good initiatives that the government, I think, have put in place. But more of those things are needed for particularly the vulnerable in our society to help address the gaps, the remaining gaps that we have. And also coverage of medication. People cannot be able to pay for mental health medication because they are usually lifelong or you take it for many years. It's not like antibiotics where you take for just a few days. So if you have to be able to pay for that and you don't have a job, that's a very difficult challenge that many people are experiencing.
I agree. Now I'll come to you for your final words, Dr. Alexandra.
Just a big thank you to the University of Ghana, the college, for a very warm welcome and including us in the meetings this week.
Great. Dr. Leanne?
I'll say thank you as well, and in particular to the trainees, and really looking forward to continuing to collaborate with them.
And Dr. Vincent.
Yeah, and thank you to you for helping to spread the word about the collaboration. And obviously to my colleagues at the Mental Health Authority, the University of Ghana Medical School, the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, and all the trainees and faculty that we've met on our journey. Everybody's been so receptive. And we look forward to a very long-term, fruitful collaboration, mutually beneficial for both institutions or countries.
Thank you so much for your time here on NewsDesk. We'll be speaking to Dr. Vincent Jakpa. He's professor and head of the Department of Psychiatry at Dalhousie University and Chief of Psychiatry for Nova Scotia Health Authority Central Zone. Also, Dr. Alexandra Manning, Assistant Professor at the Department of Psychiatry at Dalhousie University, and Dr. Leanne Revel. She's the fourth-year psychiatry resident here in Ghana, visiting us for the past few days. Thank you so much for your time here on NewsDesk. We're taking a quick breather. When we return, we'll be back with business, to stay tuned in.
Welcome to Business on NewsDesk. My name is Winston Taki. And now to a false business story. Some stakeholders within Ghana's health sector are bemoaning the high import charges on some equipment. According to the Deputy Programs Manager for Non-Communicable Diseases at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Wallace Olenu, government should consider waiving some of these nuisance taxes to support importers and the health sector at large. Was speaking at the Trust Hospital's Cancer Care Academy event.
It is estimated that health expenditure reached $2.3 billion in 2020, representing 3% of GDP. Health expenditure has fallen with a compound annual growth rate of negative 3.4% since 2015. It is estimated that per capita health expenditure reached $61.4 billion in 2020. Around 58% of expenditure is met by the private sector. These health sector players say more needs to be done to save the sector.
There are so many gaps in our healthcare system that needs to be bridged if we want to be able to serve our cancer patients adequately. And our theme, closing the care gap and advancing care through education and collaboration, is a call to action. So I hope that by the end of the 3 days, we'll have actionable strategies to be able to implement so that our patients at the end of the day will see some light. So I'd like to talk briefly about some of the gaps in the health system. So from service delivery to health workforce to information and even financing for healthcare, there's a huge gap. We know some of the cancers are supposedly on the insurance. However, if you speak to some of the patients, they will tell you of the challenges in accessing some of these. So we need to have a roundtable discussion and actually discuss and find out exactly what some of these insurance covers.
Chief Executive Officer of the Trust Hospital, Juliana Oye-Ameh, called for more collaborative efforts between the private and the public sector.
According to the Global Observatory Report 2022, Ghana registered 27,385 new cancer cases in 2022, and that is also huge. And this same report indicated that the top 3 cancers affecting men in Ghana are prostate cancer, liver cancer, and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, while breast cancer, cervical cancer, and ovarian cancer are the top 3 cancers affecting women in Ghana.
12th of June was marked as World Day Against Child Labor. Some reports suggest that child labor exists in Ghana's cocoa sector, an assertion the Cocoa Board has debunked. According to the International Cocoa Initiative, about 1.56 million children are engaged in child labor in Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. The following report takes a look at what Asetenapa Cooperative Cocoa Farming and Marketing Society Limited has been doing as it commemorates the day.
The vast majority of cocoa in West Africa is grown by smallholder farmers. These households face the realities of rural poverty, such as scarcity of land, food insecurity, limited access to quality education, lack of access to drinking water, and inadequate health services. These factors increase the risk of child labor. In a bid to raise awareness about the menace, Asetenapa Cooperative Cocoa Farming and Marketing Society Limited organized a health walk in Durban to mark this year's World Day Against Child Labor in Nankese, Suhum. Mike Arthur, Country Director for International Cocoa Initiative, explained why World Day Against Child Labor is important.
This is a very special day because children are a vulnerable group. They have dreams, they have aspirations, but a lot of things are militating against them. And one of them is child labor. In the wisdom of international organizations, they always set aside a special day to commemorate children. And so it is important that we recognize what children go through, what is needed to help them so that they will be able to achieve their dreams and aspirations.
Rian Van Doveren, General Manager of Tony's Open Chain, highlighted what the company is doing to minimize child labor in Ghana.
As a cooperative and as partners, we work very closely together to set up CLMRS systems, to make sure that we really monitor what is happening with the households, to identify the cases of child labor, and to also offer ways out of child labor, so remediation services. So this is something that we're very committed to. We are also working in pilot projects and approaches to see how can we look at the broader community, not just in cocoa, but beyond, to see how can we actually address the entire landscape and community to work together. We believe it's critical that we work together with the farmers, with the cooperative, with the community, with the government, and with us as a stakeholder in the cocoa chain.
In October 2023, Fair Trade launched the Children in Rural Communities Are Learning and Empowered project. The Circle project is an initiative that focuses on children's rights in the Ghanaian cocoa sector. President of Asetenapa Cooperative Cocoa Farming and Marketing Society Limited, Mark Ayivo, disclosed that stakeholders are beginning to appreciate child labor issues because of the project.
That's all for business here on Newsdesk. My name is Winston Taki. We're back with more.
Well, that's it for NewsX. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safa. Have a pleasant weekend as you enjoy the rest of our programs.